Welcome to Bridging the Gap, the Madison County Chamber of Commerce podcast, where Madison County's stories and businesses connect. I'm Sarah Pugh, the Executive Director of the Madison County Chamber of Commerce. Each episode spotlights the people, businesses, and nonprofits that make our community thrive while sharing the stories behind what they do. We're looking forward to learning more about their story and their connection to Madison County. Today I'm here with Mike Hansen with Omnitel. Thank you for being here, Mike.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
So for those of the listeners that may not be familiar, can you tell us about Omnitel Communications and the services?
Absolutely. So we are the local internet provider. It's 100% fiber optic internet service. It brings high-speed internet to the rural areas. So it's just really about making sure that folks at home have the same connection that you can get in the big cities.
Nice. And what is your role with Omnitel?
I am the lead sales rep for the South Market. So I do wear a lot of hats. I talk with a lot of different types of organizations, city leaders, and businesses. I make all sorts of different deals, and we work with the communities and different events that are going on.
Nice. Okay. So what drew you to telecommunications and Madison County?
You know, it just kind of happened unexpectedly. Before I moved here in 2020, I didn't even know what fiber optics was, and I was in a completely different field. But I moved in, and suddenly, unexpectedly, I had to use the internet for my job, and plugging into Omnitel made all the difference in the world. I was suddenly able to work from home. My whole family was doing work from home, and all of a sudden, other coworkers had to go back into the office while I got to stay at home, and it was just fantastic. They were all getting jealous, and I was really enjoying it. And then there was just an opening where things happened, and there was an opening at Omnitel, and I needed to change vocations, and so it just seemed like it was meant to be.
Nice. So what motivates you about the work that you do?
You know, every day it's really gratifying to work with people and be able to make those connections. Really what we're looking to do is just ensure that everyday homeowners, that small businesses can have that access to the high-speed internet so that you can actually, play in the same way that you can in the big cities. It makes it possible for people to do the work from home, and it makes it possible for a lot of businesses to market and do things that they never were able to before.
Yeah.
So,
I know as a business owner, it quickly becomes uncomfortable when your internet is slow or out for the day or you're unable to function. So you don't realize how much you depend on it until it's not there.
I told my wife multiple times that we're spoiled now having it, and now that we have it, we can never not have it. So I was a customer for 4 years until I moved over. So I'm a big believer in the company.
Yeah. So what are some common misconceptions people have about rural internet service?
The most common misconception is that here in the rural areas, you can't get high-speed internet. And so that's something that we like to kind of lead the way in and educating people. We work with the local politicians and things too, but it's to ensure that what we can do and the speeds that we can bring literally can either match or surpass what our competitors can do in the city. So really showing that and how it works is the most fun part of the job.
Yeah. So technology is always evolving. I remember when it was the dial-up and with the and it was, hey, go turn the internet on and then go do your chores and then come back and you could log into your AOL or whatever.
The
it's
56K modem.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
It's
that was my favorite.
It's their own song, right? It's evolving so quickly.
Yeah.
How does Omnitel stay ahead and continue improving its service?
That's a great question. So we continually reinvest into the network and into the company itself. We're making upgrades all the time. So for instance, just this last year, we rolled out the official 10 gigabit per second. And so, there's all kinds of numbers and terms that are thrown around. And what that really means is it's equal to 10,000 megabits per second. And you start looking at what your current provider does or run a speed test and what you need, it just blows everything else out of the water. And while most people don't really need that, the infrastructure is there because we're always looking towards the future. And so it's knowing confidently that anything below that is just easy. So when you say gigabyte, I know,
is
right?
that, can you break that down? What's this, is it megabyte?
So everything right now is measured in megabytes for the mostly, but once you get up to certain speeds, 1,000, that's 1,000 megabytes per second, or megabits per second, sorry, is equal to a gigabit. It's just a different way of saying it, like 1,000 versus 1,000.
Yep. So it goes mega, giga, tera.
You know,
I
don't think that we've broken into the next one yet.
Okay.
It's probably going to be terabits.
So you're hovering around that giga.
Yeah, we're still at the 10 gigabits. But
Okay.
I mean, just for kind of a bit of clarity, like people always ask, well, what do I need? And, you know, that nobody really understands the real impact. And so that's the good conversations. So for instance, if you're going to online stream video for one of the multiple different providers, they recommend having at least 50 megabits per second for unfettered access for you. So I'm streaming video, I need that 50 for me. And for every other person that picks up on it, it's 50 for you and 50. So all of a sudden, that's where it starts to stack up. And then people don't even think about it because it's, you know, your household starts adding devices and everybody's got smart thermometers, and my washing machine picks up on my Wi-Fi, and, you know, there's smart cameras and stuff. And while each one of those is just a little bit of data, it starts to add up. And I've talked to people who say, you know, I've only got 4 devices, and I'll look and say, you've got 14. And we start going through them and it's, oh my goodness. And so it's, when people talk about speeds, it's kind of a misnomer. It's really capacity. And as that data starts to stack and we get more and more smart devices, people go to smart homes, that's where the difference really starts to shine through.
Okay. That's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. No,
you know, again, technology is evolving so much, and even refrigerators, they have the smart screens in them, and you don't realize how much power
nobody
they're
even realizes how much everything's pulling out. And it really made a difference when we were all at home and having to do school from home, and all of a sudden I'm working from home and on my devices. My wife's doing the same, my kids are doing the same, and at one point I was running 5 people with almost 20 devices out of my house, and I'm like, how is this even possible? So
awesome. How does Omnitel support the communities it serves beyond just providing internet and phone service?
That's a great question. So we do work really closely with our local communities, and it's always the goal. Omnitel itself is a company that's been around since 1904. We actually started out in the local South Market as a telecom. And so it was just the Farmers Mutual I-35 telephone service, and the technology has grown up since then. And we've pulled all those old copper lines and replaced them with all the fiber optic lines that we have now. But in that vein, we are always fundamentally woven into the fiber of the communities that we're in. Our business model focuses on rural areas, and we make a point to work with community leaders and to be part of the parades. And we have charity grants, and we have donations that we do. We also do drop-in events, and we bring the community to us so we can have those conversations about what people's needs are and how we can best meet them. We're always trying to make sure that we can be that backbone that people are relying on.
Mm-hmm. So you hear from the customer first. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's really where the most work is made, is having those face-to-face conversations. Mm-hmm. It's something where, you know, you really don't get that with a lot of other companies, and something that really affected me, knowing that I could be at home and I'm used to living in the big city and moving out here and saying, hey, when I call somebody, I'm actually talking to a neighbor, and it's somebody that literally comes to my house the same day and talks to me like a person. It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Can you share an example of how your services have made a difference for a local business or resident?
Yes, actually, just one of the residents, I won't name who, he almost cried when we got him hooked up, because it was such a important factor with him being able to work from home, and for his wife to be actually able to be at home, and to kind of shift that whole business model so that he could start. He had a very data intensive job, still doing it, but needed to make sure that that infrastructure was already in place and that we could meet the needs. And once we started running speed tests for him, and his company, you know, got back to him, they're like, how is this possible? And can we get this back at the office? So it's kind of funny, but knowing that can actually make a difference in someone's life and just kind of change what they're able to do in the day-to-day, it's fantastic. It is very rewarding.
Nice. How has being involved with the Chamber of Commerce helped Omnitel connect with local businesses? It's
been great being part of the Chamber. It's getting to network with other businesses, talking to the city leaders, and attending functions so that we can do that networking, but then also being part of events and being invited to those events. A lot can be said for being able to have those conversations throughout the top level to the just basic everyday person coming in. So we found it something that we love being part of, and there's plans to just continue that for forever.
Yeah. Why do you think partnerships between utilities and tech providers and local organizations matter?
It's just something where going future forward, it's, used to be seen as an extra, and at this point, it's kind of a necessary. It's in order to do business at this point, pretty much across the board, you have to have a connection in one way or another. And a lot of businesses we talk, and if you don't have a steady connection and there's nothing running, you're not making any money. And that's, because a lot of businesses have their electronic kiosks open after hours and things like that. So when all of a sudden they go down and there is no connection, is a big problem. And that's what makes it nice with being able to have a company like ours where it's small enough that we all talk to each other. And if there ever is an issue, we know there's ownership, somebody's on it immediately, and we have a reputation of answering things the same day that they occur.
Yeah, that's important. So what does the future of connectivity look like for residents around Madison County?
So that's been really exciting for us. Like I said, just this last year, we rolled out the huge update of the network up to the 10 gigabits, but we've also been conducting a lot of construction. Construction is very cost and labor intensive for us, but it's just something that is part of the business and we're always seeking to do. So we recently kind of broke into just the corners of Winterset here, but we made a huge push through the rural areas connecting from St. Charles up to Winterset. And then with that, we've also recently lit up the town of East Peru, Patterson, Bevington, and multiple towns in Warren County, and we've kind of wound up through there. But this year, as we kind of light up that section, we are going to be activating the Cummings area that's on this side in Madison County, as well as the Van Meter extended area. So it's very exciting for us.
Yeah, you guys have been busy.
Oh, it's been crazy busy.
What are you most excited about when it comes to technology in the next few years?
There's a lot of things that are coming around the bend. I'm always keeping my eye on the newest, latest, greatest. I'm talking to schools about getting them connected, seeing if they're interested in esports programs, also working with companies that do drone racing, things like that we're not directly involved in, but we're always interested in where technology is going and what it can do for the different industries. Even for us. So I am working with multiple different people on multiple different levels and just kind of seeing where that goes. We also are doing more entertainment stuff with it and just seeing, how much fun that we can have with the internet and just involving people. Really, the connection of people is huge. Knowing that grandma, that doesn't get out of the house very often can pull up her phone and have that live conversation with the grandkids. It's honestly really helped with my parents and my kids. So, knowing that we can bring that to other people and just continue to push the technology, live casting, a lot of different things like that. It's very exciting.
Cool. You mentioned esports. What is that?
So esports, it's video games for schools, but it's not just schools. It's actually made its way beyond that and into the military too. But it's competitive games that are online. So you challenge people around the world. And really it's something where for people that are involved in it, fiber optic internet is kind of a necessary thing just because when they talk about speeds, the true test of speed is latency. And our latency is the lowest or the best that you can possibly get. It's like 0.3 milliseconds. So it's just lightning fast. There's no, when you go to those older technologies, because they're using copper or an aerial signal, there's a delay a lot of times, and they'll get an echo, and all of a sudden it starts to create an issue and a glitch in the game, whereas with the fiber optic, it's instantaneous. And so we can have kids that literally, my son has some friends that are in Sweden and in Canada and Texas, and they're all playing at the same time. And so I did kind of scoff at it a little bit at first, but it really is showing team building skills and networking and problem solving. And so it really opens up who they're able to communicate with, and it allows you to kind of spread out more and find those other people of like mind and like abilities to kind of pair up and do new things that I never thought were possible.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool concept of esports.
Yeah.
And that the latency you're talking, so when I'm doing my racing game and I go to turn a corner, the delay. That's what you're talking about? Okay.
When you're playing online and there's that delay and
Okay.
it's like it's not responding, it's because it's your computer connecting to it and then it's connecting up and then there's that bounce. And so we remove that. And with the fiber optic, there's no impediments in there. And actually something kind of fun about our company, we take the speeds and we take it very seriously as far as what we report. So we actually push our speeds faster than what we advertise because we understand that there's still physical impediments that will literally slow things down, and we want you to be getting what you pay for. So whenever we get people that has our connection, I always encourage them to test the speed, make sure that it's accurately running, and we'll take care of it.
So how does if one moves to the area, how do they know if they can hook up to you or not?
So if they go to our website and they run a search, it's free. They just type in their address. We've got an interactive map, and it will drop a pin on the map and it will say, is this you? And then after you confirm or drag the pin to where it goes, then it will tell you whether or not you're in a service area. If you're not, it's okay. I always encourage people, now that I know, to continue to go forward and register, because if you register and you say, hey, I'm in a remote area, what that does is, we're a small company. We don't give that away to anybody else, that information. We keep it for ourselves on an internal map. And then it's for us registering where there's interest. And at the end of every year, when we go back and say, hey, we want to expand again next year, where are we going to expand and where are we going to put our investment and our efforts? We're looking at those areas that have the most interest in us. And so, for instance, even though it's not in New Virginia, but I'll just throw it, not in Madison County. I'll just throw it out there for an example. For New Virginia, we built out there about 3-4 years ago, and we only got maybe half the town. At that time, there was a lot of interest and we had people sign up. And so we just kept it. And then this past year, we went out and we expanded to the other half of the town. We took that list and we said, hey, you signed up 3 years ago. Are you still interested? Nobody's on the hook. You don't have to pay for anything. It's just registering your interest. And it was very valuable because people that may have forgot, say, hey, oh my goodness, you're back in town, or we don't even know if you live there still. So it's just, no harm, no foul. It's always good to register, and it just helps us out to, kind of understand where that is.
Yeah. Awesome. So where can listeners go or learn more about how to get connected to Omnitel?
Great question. Just go to www.omnitel.biz.
And then from there's a picture of your face to click.
Nope, it's the address thing. But if they ever want to reach out, they can. There's questions at omnitel.biz, or they can reach me directly at mhansen@omnitel.biz.
Wonderful. What is one piece of technology you can't live without?
Oh, goodness. I'd say the cell phone at this point. It's kind of broken me. Everything's in there. I mean, and from watching the silly videos to the music to my email and my calendar, and everything's synced up now, and I sync up with my wife and the kids. And so it organizes so much. It's not that I say that I can't live without it, but it would be a little bit painful.
It would. We were talking through with family this weekend of all the iterations of the phone, from landline to, remember when the cell phones were teeny tiny, and now we've kind of found that middle ground of the size, and even down to kids, when you say, how do you pick up a phone? And we do this and they do that. Like, it's just fun to see where the evolving of the phones. But I would agree with you. My phone would be hard to live without at this point.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, because for my kids, don't want to start them off in technology too early, but we did want to have the convenience of saying, hey, there's a device that you can call us if you need to, just in case. So we, on purpose, got them very basic. We call them dumb phones, the kind of flip phones where you have to press AAA, BBBs, to spell anything.
Yeah.
Oh, that was very frustrating for them. But when we finally moved them up to more modern phones, we said, you better be responsible with this, because we could always go back to the other one. Nobody wants to go back to that other one. So,
and think that's all we had.
I know. We try to explain how it used to be and what a beeper was and the function of that. And it's just kind of funny, because I've seen, kind of every step as it's gone through and been part of it. So, and I still didn't even understand it until I started working here. So to now kind of see everything from the inside, it's amazing to see it all unfold.
Well, very cool. Thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely.
And again, you can look for Omnitel online. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for listening to Bridging the Gap, the Madison County Chamber of Commerce podcast, where Madison County's stories and businesses connect. We hope today's conversation gave you a deeper look at the people and passion behind our local community. To learn more about today's guest, visit their website, and for more Chamber events, membership, or resources, visit www.madisoncounty.com. Be sure to subscribe, share, and join us next time as we continue bridging the gap across Madison County.